Hi everyone, this is Dr. Kalyani from Team MDS Conquer. Hope all of you are doing good. And this is about the biochemical laboratory techniques and investigations. And I know that this particular question is being asked in various universities in different ways. And this answer or this video is rather a compilation of all the small topics like laboratory investigations in diabetes, or this question is asked as it is also. So what happens is all of us go refer back to various biochemistry textbooks. We refer the various textbooks, but if you observe, the question given would be always laboratory investigations in perio. That's how you should observe. And they what they expect you to write is a article from direct. It's a direct question from perio 2000 article. So here is this article view, which is having everything in detail. If you see, there's a laboratory testings of patients with systemic conditions in periodontal practice by Angelo Mariotti. It's a 2004 publication in Perio 2000. So this is a directly asked question most of the times. Otherwise, there are small bits in which is asked like a question, as most of it is always diabetes investigations in pregnancy, investigations for liver function test. So these are small things, but we miss knowing that this is actually from a perio orientation work. It's not going to help us if we are going to write it through a biochemistry or a general is always fetch, but more than it, the marks which will be fetching is through this one, because everybody will be expecting this from you. So coming to the index, as I always tell you, make very good index, elaborate your index, write it everything, heading, point wise, the subheadings, the references, and all the stuff. You can do it in your index. Okay, so that's how here I get you this index. Introduction: periodontal epistemology. If you observe, this is a concept entirely for the perio and systemic health. So let's see what is periodontal epistemology today. Apart from that, here I got some criteria, classification of tests, and various tests, and the conclusion. So let's all learn about what is the periodontal epistemology and what is called as classification of laboratory tests. Okay, a quick view of our author Angelo Mariotti, and about the article. If you can go through, it's well and good. Otherwise, this whole video is a brief it's a briefing about that article itself. Okay, and introduction. As I've told you, if there is no proper definition for something, then could be included as an introduction part. So you need to know what a diagnosis is. So you need to know what diagnosis is in order to send the patient for a test before that. So it's identification of a disease by careful investigation of the patient's signs, symptoms, history, if often a matter of making choices in the face of uncertainty. Okay, periodontal epistemology. So what our Mariotti has told us that as a healthcare professional, most jurisdictions give the periodontist the opportunity to diagnose any systemic disease or condition. So it's taking it as an opportunity. A periodontist will understand the features or the oral manifestations, and according to that would give their diagnosis to a systemic problem, and rather refer a patient to a general physician or particular specialty for that particular realistic, that is called as periodontal epistemology. And however, there are always limits to do that. Okay, so in our limits definitely we can. So let's know what are our limits, where and all we can send a patient for investigations. Okay, so diagnostic tests, before telling what the tests are, it's a beautiful and a powerful evidence. Okay, and because of which there is a presence of particular disease which is having a pursue a rational course of treatment. So every laboratory test can't be a random test. There are certain criteria. Again, in Angelo Mariotti 2004, if you see, they have given that every test should have a characteristic like accuracy, cost, interfering factors, morbidity, precision, reference range, sensitivity, specificity, specimen collection. So all these are criteria and important characteristics of a laboratory test. Now, various type of laboratory tests. Based on how they are performed, it is on and off tests, biochemical profiles, dynamic function tests, screening tests, metabolic workup tests, emergency tests. So any test tomorrow you come across, you have to identify itself as what kind of a test it is. So how is it? On and off tests. Okay, that's like T4. Example is thyroid test, like T4 and TSH. Biochemical tests, like how you send it for LFTs, like the liver function test and plasma electrolyte test. Dynamic function test, where you give it for oral glucose tolerance, OGT, generally given in case of a pregnant patients. Okay, next, screening test. Where do you do a screening test? Identify the inborn errors of metabolism and entry of toxins. So when there is a toxicity, those tests are screening tests. Then metabolic workup tests. Again, these are for endocrinal disorders. Emergency tests like blood glucose, urea, serum electrolytes. These are emergency tests. Normally, next, after you know which kind of a test and where it falls, it's the type of specimen. What you take for a test? You either take blood, you either take whole serum, plasma, RBC, urine. Apart from that, these days we also take saliva, GCF, which you can also include. Next, coming to the laboratory tests. So here I have compiled all the various tests, and you can, these are all briefed. If you go through the article, you can elaborate and write. For example, if the question is given as endocrine test or specifically for diabetes mellitus, you go through this video, get the information and go back to the article, elaborate about diabetic mellitus, and you can just always include about some periodontal manifestations of diabetic patients and all that, and make your proper and a beautiful answer. So renal tests, cardiovascular tests, immunological tests, bone tests, hepatobiliary and genetic disease tests. These are various tests, and let's see how it is working. Coming to hematological tests, RBCs are tested, WBCs and platelets are used. So here complete blood count is one test which is useful there, which includes blood volume, hemoglobin determination, total erythrocyte count, packed cell volume, ESR, reaction or pH test. Okay, then again the indices, again MCH, MCHC, they are again important. And also you can have a look. Anyway, the material is all taken from Chatterjee, Human Physiology, but if you are still, you want to go back, you can go back to Chatterjee and refer for the explanations. Okay, these are the test advice, and I also try to make a note of the conditions where there is decreased RBC, where there is increased RBC. So these are the conditions where you can find there is increased RBCs. And how are the tests done? There are two methods, like direct method and indirect method. Again, coming to hemoglobin determination, you always have to know the normal values before knowing what is abnormal. After knowing the normal values, these are all the various tests segregated from various physiology textbooks and these are all the hemoglobin determination test methods, like Halden's hemoglobometer, Goworth, Sally's and colorimetric meter. And after doing all the tests, in these conditions hemoglobin is decreased, in these conditions hemoglobin is increased. Now total count, RBC. So this is a test where Newbar hematocytometer commonly done. Again, these are the normal values. These are the situations like polycythemia, congenital heart disease. If you can increase this, if you can write this, it increases the bulk of your answer. It shows how good you are at other systemic diseases also. Coming to packed cell volume, hematocrit volumes are increased and hematocrit volumes are decreased in the following situations. Yeah, here it is. Now ESR, again ESR is very important for all of us periodontists, as we send for a CBC before we undergo or send a patient for flap surgeries. So the methods are Winthrop method and Westergren method. Again, these are the conditions. It increases and decreases. As apart from all this, even in the periodontal situations, there is mild increase in ESR. Coming to the pH, the regular pH of blood, the methods how you identify it. Coming to important indices, as I told you, these are the very commonly performed tests which you need to have an idea of their normal values. All the values are taken from, most of them are taken from Carranza. Most of them are taken from the physiology textbook of Das Chatterjee. And if you can see that, here again I have mentioned about total WBC count, neutrophil count, lymphocytes count, eosinophils, monocytes, basophils. So these are all the normal values, situations where they are increased and situations where they are decreased. Types of leukemias, these acute leukemia, they are chronic myelogenous leukemia, lymphocytic leukemia. And coming to that, again, when are they increased and decreased and their relation. So please go through these tables, they are all beautifully compiled here. Platelet count, very important. So when knowledge of a platelet count, how much should be the normal value, how much is it's called as abnormal thrombocytopenia, when there is spontaneous bleeding. Basically this is the base why you need to know, and this is the first point you have to write, and following it you can write all the other various investigations. So please mention all this. Then coming to anemias. Anemias are various types like iron deficiency, megaloblastic anemia, pernicious anemia, and vitamin B12 test if you've done, it is also useful for megaloblastic and sickle cell anemias. So all these are normal values, the tests, and for what are they performed. Coming to laboratory tests for bleeding disorders, a quite important and repeatedly given question. So this is bleeding time, clotting time, prothrombin time. You need to know them first. Then what are the various methods for bleeding time? EV method, Duke method, template, modified template. And for every method you have got their own timings and when is it decreased. Coming to clotting time. Clotting time, again it's around 30 to 40 minutes. It takes for a clotting to happen, and then you can see that it is lesser than 1 hour, and how it is 3 to 4 minutes and 6 to, it's for the complete, but initial clots you can always see for 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, so and this is the same table which is given in 12th edition Carranza also. You can go back and refer. Prothrombin time, you can see INR and INR of how much it is. And let's see partial thromboplastin PTT INR. Why is it INR? INR is the standardized normalized ratio. INR is to standardize the values. Okay, and then if you have various type of prothrombin times were taken, various tests were giving various readings. That is why in order to standardize those numbers, we have taken one INR. This is how it is used to diagnose vitamin K status, venous thromboembolism condition, and patients undergoing anticoagulant therapy. This is from Carranza itself. These are the indications for safe borderline and adjustments for various periodontal problems, like the treatment modalities like SRP, extraction, gingivoplasty, multiple extraction, gingivectomy, minor flap surgery, full arch extraction, and extensive flap surgery. So during all these conditions you need to have these following INR values. Okay, coming to recommendation, how are you going to treat a patient, or when are you going to treat a patient based on these recommendations? It's a compilation again from Perio 2000. It's from Carranza 12th edition. Coming to inherited coagulation disorder, this is hemophilia A, B, von Willebrand's disease. Endocrine tests, again very important. Diabetes is the first one which comes. Every periodontist have to know about diabetes mellitus, and if you see, there is not just one test. Random glucose test, fasting plasma glucose, prandial, postprandial, glucose tolerance test, and glycosylated hemoglobin assays. And this is again from Carranza. Test for thyroid and parathyroid, a small brief note. These are all from Peri 2000 article of 2004. Renal test. If it is never asked individually, but if it is asked as investigations, this heading is to be mentioned. These are the various renal disorders: creatinine, urea, creatinine clearance, cardiovascular tests, on and off being asked, because again CVS is important for a periodontist. Serum cholesterol, serum triglycerides, serolipoprotein, these are the normal values, and if you see, these are the situations where it is elevated. Immunological tests, HIV, important, we always have this chapter with us some or the other way, and recommendations you have, that how much should be the and how we're gonna treat the patient as well. Bone tests, these are bone test markers. Again, ALP, alkaline phosphatase, a very important enzyme for us also, because it is a bone resorption marker. And osteomyelitis, how do you check? Hepatobiliary tests, various liver enzyme tests which are given. Tests for hepatitis, HBV, tests for HDV, tests for HCVs, and genetic disease tests. So these are generally directly test or indirectly test. Just add a note of all these when it's a question asked, okay? And you can go back to refer Perio 2000 Carranza, Perio 2000 Agelo Mariotti article. Then it is Chatterjee's, then Guyton and Hall, Davidson principle, Shambulingam. That's how it is I have used. And if not, just if a question is asked, you can directly put up this answer and add a few things from in and around, you know. Thank you.